Are you serious? Ladies and gentlemen, we want to welcome you here today to the 10th, the second to last round of XRL's Dev League here, as we are getting ready to run at Azerbaijan in today's event. I'm your host for today's broadcast, Singular 13, and today we are looking at roughly a 14-car grid for today's race. Might get one or two more people show up midway through qualifying, but I wouldn't put any big bets on that happening. So it's going to be a small field. The question, though, is going to end up being who can survive to the end of these races. Azerbaijan, in the XRL series, has a history of being a very chaotic, very destructive race. Not a lot of people finish. The amount of times you see a full 10-car points-earning day for the end of the races here, extremely, extremely rare. So the question is who is or isn't going to complete. Several drivers are here trying to make something good out of today's race so they can take it into the X2 or X3 events tomorrow. XRL Flavor, XRL Veloce, XRL Shikari, and XRL Dave all trying to earn good runs and good strategies here to take them into next week. Dave, Shikari, and Veloce are championship contenders in the X3 championship right now. And while Veloce has the leg up there, he is not by default locked in the title yet. When it comes to the Dev Championship, though, there is a title fight, actually two title fights on the line, and we will talk about those briefly in the interim in between qualifying session 3 and the start of the race itself. Also, I do want to go ahead and say if you hear noises or talking in the background, please don't take it wrong. I am watching the 24 Hours of Law in the background at the moment, though. So, almost everyone is out on track or is preparing to go out on track. Right now, though, the interesting thing to consider, everyone has soft tires on, with the exception of this man here. Veloce is trying to do his time on medium tires. Again, with so few cars on track, everyone here is guaranteed to make it to the next round of qualifying as long as they do not crash out. Extreme F1 is serving a qualifying ban, so he will have to start dead last in the event. But, despite that, we do have 13 other drivers who are going to be taking laps today. This is Edgedy in the Ferrari machine. We're going to go ahead and run silent on board with him for a lap around Baku so you can really get a feel of what it's like to run a lap here around this very temperamental street circuit. Oh, hold off on that. Shikari has had an accident. That's right in the middle of the racing line. That's right in the middle of the racing line, and for Lazier, he'll barely avoid it. It is not a good start to the session whatsoever. Chaos early on here in the first round of qualifying at Azerbaijan. Hadn't even gotten an official time on the board yet. Also, Lazier goes to the top of the timesheets with a 140.910 in that Williams. But Shikari, the first driver knocked out today, now footballer in the Ferrari, goes 141.249. So chaos early on, with only 14 drivers here, and then one of them serving a qualifying ban, now another one crashed out. We're only looking at 12 drivers making it to the next round of qualifying. That's assuming no other bizarre circumstances happen. So Q1, which should have been very simple, just go out there, set a lap, and come in. The track starts reaching out and smacking you, and this is what I'm talking about when I say, historically for XRL, it doesn't matter what the tier is, X1, X2, X3, Dev, Realistic, or even one of the weekly series like XNA. It's not very often you see a lot of drivers finishing here. You have a lot of 90-degree corners, a lot of high-speed straights, a lot of blind corners as well. Aerodynamics are important. If you damage the wing here, you're almost guaranteed to go into the wall that lap. This is Adam Lee, one of the two drivers in the AlphaTauris, as he is making his way through Sector 2 right now. Did he damage the wing? 114.964. It does not look like he damaged the wing, but he is continuing right now. Coming to the line, and that will be a 139.762 for Adamley. That puts him on the top of the timesheets. So that should be good news for his teammate XR Veloce. So we tried doing it earlier with Egedy, didn't work out, but we will do is we're going to go sign for a lap and ride on board with XR Veloce and see what a lap is like on board in the AlphaTauri Honda here around Azerbaijan, unless we have to kind of get to catch you up on something else. And that is a full lap on board with XR Veloce, 140.842 on the medium tires, and he'll be the 7th driver to set a time in the session. Eggedy, Flavor, Kinsey, Hurricane, and Zola all have yet to set times. Eggedy is currently navigating his way through Sector 1. CJ Hurricane navigating his way through Sector 2 in his Alpine machine. Up through Castle section. Big twitch in the Alpine there in Sector 2. Didn't hit anything. But there's definitely a little bit of aerodynamic insensitivity with that car. Or oversensitivity might be a more proper term. You can see Hurricane running that car very low on fuel right now. Low fuel doesn't, the lighter the car doesn't help you in going faster in the straights in terms of engine power. What it does do though is mean that when you exit the corner, you're not pushing as much weight through the car. You're not having to accelerate nearly as aggressively to move all the extra weight. It gives you a better boost in acceleration and lets you hit your top speed a bit faster. So that's one of the reasons why you'll see drivers and teams underfuel their cars so much. So Hurricane sets a 140.911. That's just 1,000th off of Lazier's time in 3rd right now. Also, TF Mr. Shark, who's in the other Alpine, is still 9th, 143.420. Zola, Kinsey, and Flavor are the other drivers who have yet to set times. Flavor is running the Haas today. Zola running in a Red Bull machine per usual. Coming to the line right now, Flavor now begins his lap. Kinsey Retro has also come out into the circuit to begin a lap on his own now. Gulminator has just gone a 2nd lap on his set of tires, 143.108, so Gulminator and Mr. Shark seem to be significantly off pace right now. At the rate it's going, they may be the drivers that risk getting squeezed out in Q2. It's going to follow Zola around the circuit here, one of your main championship contenders here in Dev. So Zola has now set a time 144.679 and Flavor is 143.352. Now they both set their times on the medium tires. Kinsey Retro, the only man left who has yet to set a time in this session. Ooh, very close to the wall there, Kinsey. Christ alive. But it does look like he's going to bring it home. Won't be an amazing time, but it will be obviously a time that, and just setting a time in itself will get you to the next round. Kinsey, 5th fastest, so it's better than I anticipated, 140.930. With that, everyone has now set a time, with the exception of Extreme F1, who is serving a qualifying ban, and XL Shikari, who crashed on the lap that he was trying to set a lap in. We've tried reaching out to Shikari. We've not had any luck doing so, sadly. We are going to try and reach out to him one more time, though. Now we're seeing a lot of drivers going ahead and retiring from the session. They know, hey, don't have to go ahead push harder. Now there are a few drivers, though, who are still in the middle of laps. Adam Lee does seem to try to be going faster right now, and he is the only man in the sub 140 range, 139.762 on those soft tires. But we've seen Dave retire, Velocity's already retired, Hurricane's already retired in the pits. A lot of drivers already retired in the pits. They're like, hey, no need to go back out on track. Why waste time? Yellow flag in Sector 3, that would be XO Flavor, who is calming it down as he's bringing it into the pits. And now Adam Lee has also backed it down on this set of tires. So this is now a set of scuffs that you can use in the race itself. And we talk about this almost every week or almost every other week. There's a difference between having scuffed tires that have a little bit of wear on them and then flat sticker tires that have not had any laps on them. Sticker tires take a little bit more time to get up to temperature. Scuffs, they immediately heat up. Although you have a little bit less overall life in them, they get you to their performance window almost instantly compared to the sticker tires. There is a small potential advantage in having sets of scuffed tires in the box. So Gulminator now coming into pit lane. And with that, this should bring us to a relatively early end here in qualifying session 1. Yeah, so we will see the session end in about 30 seconds here. There we are. Took a little longer than anticipated. So of note, Veloce, Flavor, and Zola set their times on medium tires rather than softs. But it's Lee, Veloce, Laser, Hurricane, Kinsey, Dave, JR Footballer, Mr. Shark, Eggity, Flavor, Gulminator, Zola, who all will advance. 12 drivers fighting for 10 spots. Extreme F1 technically advances, but again, serving a qualifying ban, he is not allowed to set a lap. And then Shikari crashed out, so. Alright, so there we are. Extreme F1 now has officially retired. So, yeah, he will not advance to the next round. We know that for a fact. First driver to come out into the circuit. And it looks like it will be AlphaTauri XRL Veloce trying to get a lap in early on. So everyone right now on the softs, with the exception of Egedy and Adam Lee, but they're both still in pit lane right now. Again, one benefit of using a set of mediums in Q1 means that in Q2, if you think it's better to start on soft tires, you can go ahead and use more sets of softs in either Q2 or Q3 to try and improve your time. Running very slow right now is Veloce, so that's actually meant that would be CJ Hurricane right now, who's out in front. It looks like he's going to try and be the first driver to set a time really, really squirrely there through Castle. So almost everyone out on track right now. Dave, Zola, and Flavor are the only three drivers not out on the circuit. We're trying to get on the circuit right now. So 9 of our 12 drivers out on track. Hurricane's done a good job opening up a gap on the rest of the field. He goes ahead, swerves the car just a bit before this final real corner, just to keep some heat in the front tires. Needs to exit that corner at the start of Sector 3 perfectly, so that way you're carrying maximum speed going into Turn 1. .205 miles an hour seems to be the top speed for Hurricane's Alpine right now as he begins to take the run. Now there's a car ahead, XRL Flavor, who has just come out onto the circuit. Flavor's a small way ahead. I'll be interested to see if Flavor ends up compromising Hurricane's time or not. Again, Adam Lee and Egedy right now are the only 2 drivers on medium tires, everyone else on softs. So that could end up having a significant negative effect going forward for them. Again, 12 drivers fighting over 10 spots. Hurricane 35.114 at the end of Sector 1. And he can see Flavor ahead, and Flavor pulls offline, so he will not compromise the Alpine's time. Into Castle now. Oh! Taps the wall just a bit at the front. Is there damage on the Alpine's right front wing? I don't see anything. It looks like the car is still okay. But that's really, really wide through that corner. And I can't tell if that's because of the way the car is set up or what. Really wide through there as well. But he's still alive. He's still together. 1:15.396 at the end of Sector 2. Sector 3 is just one quick 90-degree corner and then a full speed acceleration. There are a few technical corners, but realistically, this is the longest straightaway in the Formula 1 calendar in all realistic circumstances. Coming to the line now. And he aborts! So, no, he doesn't. Okay, well, he kept it really close to the wall there. I thought he was going to abort. 1:40.147 for Hurricane. That is the time everyone else is going to chase. Now we see Veloce. He will cross the line, 1:39.554. So the AlphaTauri is immediately jumping into the 1:39 range. Now we see a Ferrari coming across the line. That's Football at 1:41.589. Now it'll be Gulminator 2361. He'll come across the line. No, he'll come into the pits. So Gulminator into the pits. So now the focus goes to Laser, in the Williams, 1:41.413. Here comes the Ferrari of Egedy. He is on the medium tire compounds. He will go ahead and set 1:43.003, so a second and a half off of Footballer's time right now. Then it will go to Kinsey Retro. Kinsey goes ahead and sets a 1:41.674. Then Adam Lee, who's the other driver on the medium tires, and he is aborting into the pit lane. So now it goes to Mr. Shark, 1:15.996 at the end of Sector 2 as he is in the accelerating part of the circuit here. Pure straight line speed, it's all the focus is, and as he comes to the line, it'll be a 1:40.888, so that's third fastest. The Alpines have a lot of potential right now, second and third fastest here at this stage in Q2. Flavor in the middle of the lap, Zola about to start. Oh wow, Flavor really sideways over those curbs there. 117.985 at the end of Sector 2. Zola now beginning the lap. Gulminator and Adam Lee are in pit lane. Also, Dave has come out into the circuit. What in the devil is that? Oh, wow, that's interesting. So, Veloce is holding up both Footballer and Kinsey. Now, all three of these drivers should be on warm-up laps, although Kinsey not happy with it whatsoever. He just peels out, but Kinsey's definitely going to be unhappy with the way that's gone. Flavor 143.029. So now the focus goes to Zola. He'll be the next driver to set a time here. Sector 2. So are they just running excessively slow because they're trying to conserve tires or what? Well, this is going to get very interesting very fast because both Veloce and Football are running extremely slow and just kind of pitter-pattering around the circuit. This is Mr. Shark, and he's got behind him, I believe that's Dave. And they're going to be coming up on these two with speed. It looks like the gap is enough that they shouldn't overcome each other if that Ferrari and AlphaTauri come into the pit lane. Yes, they will come into pit lane! And Mr. Shark wanted to come into pit lane as well. He's actually going to go ahead and jump them. I'm not sure what the legality of that is, but Dave is now in the middle of his lap as Zola sets his time of a 1:40.935. That's the fourth fastest thus far. This is his teammate. So we know there's potential in the Red Bull camp. How much can Dave extract from that car? Gulminator and Adam Lee are both back out into the circuit, prepared to go again. They have the soft tires equipped right now. The only driver on mediums at this moment, Ed Giddy in the Ferrari with a 1:43.003. Well, it was a nice even slap on the wall. Dave might be able to continue and get this lap recorded either way. One more braking corner, and then there will be some high-speed corners, but it does look like the front wing is still okay. Assuming that was a nice parallel slap with the tires and not the wing, he should be able to navigate these corners without issue and still get a lap in. That's a little too close, though, for comfort in the Red Bull camp. So Zola is fourth fastest. Dave coming to the line. Where will he line up on the timesheets? It will be a 1:40.826. That's third best thus far. So now Gulminator and Adam Lee are going to try and squeeze Kinsey Retro and Eggity out. Flavor is still out on circuit trying to improve on his time. He is currently 8th with a 1:41.657. Here comes Gulminator to the line. Can he squeeze Eggity out? Indeed. 1:41.988. So that puts Gulminator into 10th. So he is the one on the bubble. Eggity on the outside looking in. Adam Lee now going to try and squeeze Gulminator out to get himself into position. We know the AlphaTauris have speed. We know they have pace. So what can Adam do? I would not be surprised if he goes into one of the top 3 positions on the timesheets. To the line. 1:40.379, that's third. So Gulminator out, Kinsey on the bubble, and Edgedy out as well. Gulminator on a cooldown lap right now, though. This is Laser in the Williams. He is 7th at the moment, 1:41.413. And the gap between 7th and 11th right now is about 55 hundredths, so just a bit over half a second. I don't blame Laser for going out there and trying to improve, because if Footballer, Flavor, Kinsey, Golden all start improving their lap times, Laser could very quickly find himself on the outside looking in. He's trying to take initiative and get himself into a better position earlier than other people and try to improve his time before the track starts becoming very crowded. So CJ Hurricane set his time 140.147 and immediately retired. He said, hey, look, 140s will be good enough for me. And I think that's honestly the best way to look at it. If you have set a time in the 1-minute 40s, you are almost guaranteed to make it into the next round of qualifying, the pole shootout. The real fight's going to be for these positions, 7th on down, trying to see what they can do. So now Galminator's got 141.988, so just slightly slower, not really improving. Here comes Laser down the straight. He was up a bit at the end of Sector 1. Now how much of that improvement has he carried on through this lap? Garrett Footballer has come out on circuit. He also is already reacting. Galminator on the outside looking in. Edgady still in pit lane and has not yet made an attempt to come back out onto the racetrack. At the line for Laser, he'll jump up to 4th, 140.513. He improved by almost an entire second. So an outstanding lap there by Laser. Mr. Shark, he is down on time exiting Sector 1, but he is in the 140s. I think of everyone, he is pretty much safe. He's definitely one of the safe drivers as far as I'm concerned. Galminator still on track, but with wing damage, so he has taken damage somewhere on circuit. Pulls over for a moment to let the Alpine by. So for Galminator, it's not looking good because there's less than 3 minutes left in the session. I don't see any way that Galminator gets another lap in because it takes you about a minute and 2/3 of another minute to get around. He needs to get into pit lane. He's not even at Sector 3 yet. He's just now into Sector 3. He needs to get in pit lane, repair the damage, swap tires, and get back out on circuit all in less than a minute. I think this is over for Galminator. I think he is trapped on the outside looking in. He does not have a chance to improve. Zola now retires in the pits. Both the AlphaTauris have retired in the pits as well. Mr. Shark, not really improved, but he's still 6th. So yeah, Galminator coming into the pit lane now. Unless the Alfa Romeo camp is able to do all this repair work in what will basically be a 15-second period, this is it for Galminator. It's over for him. He will not advance to the next round. Flavor and Kinsey have just begun out laps. I don't think they realize that they're safe because Edgady is not out on circuit. Galminator is not going to advance. So for Flavor and Kinsey, they're both locked in. Those two drivers do not need to set this lap. They can just bring into the pits and they are guaranteed their position. So this will pretty much bring an end, for all intents and purposes, to Q2. Although TF Mr. Shark is still in the middle of a lap right now. Alright, and coming into the party right now is Galminator. Galminator, go ahead and include your audio. We did not get to see it here in the booth, but you brought that car back in the pits with the damaged front wing. You're not going to be able to go out again. What happened that damaged the car there? Galminator, can you hear me? Galminator, are you there? Let me make sure that the party didn't... Alright, well, we're seeing drivers retiring from the session because they know that the session is over. Mr. Shark did not go faster again on that lap. Kinsey and Flavor. Alright, there we are. Alright, Galminator, make sure your audio is included for the party. You were out there trying to get a lap in to go a bit faster. Didn't work out. We didn't see what happened, but the front wing totally ripped off. Where'd that happen and what caused it? Alright, so it looks like you're going to be starting 11th, just outside the top 10. You will have free tire choice for the race itself. do you think that you have the speed and a strategy that can get you A, to a finish, and B, to a points-paying finish today? Alright, well, thanks for being willing to jump in and talk with us. Shame to see you knocked out, but we'll be looking forward to you trying to make your way up through the grid today. Alright, so we watched Flavor and Kinsey going ahead and finishing their extra laps. And again, these two already locked in, but they wanted to go ahead and prove that they could go faster. So Kinsey will be the first of the two to cross the line. Will he improve? The answer is a yes by about half a second up into 8th. And now here comes Flavor to the line. Flavor, though, way down on time, and it looks like they have aborted in the Haas camp. But Kinsey does move up to the 8th fastest time. So 10 drivers fighting for the front 5 rows here going into Q3. Q1 ended a little earlier than normal, but Q2 goes for about its normal length. Alright, so this is the result. Top 10. Veloce, Hurricane, Adam Lee, Laser, Dave, Mr. Shark, Zola, Kinsey, Footballer, and Flavor all advancing to the pole shootout. Also, everyone sets their fastest time easily on the soft tires. So everyone in the top 10 will be using worn softs at the start of this race. Alright, and now we prepare to get underway for the pole shootout. So the first driver is out into the circuit. Adam Lee and Veloce. Veloce is leading, so Veloce may give Adam a bit of a tow on this lap if they can time it right. The big thing is either you want to give your teammate a tow at the very start of the lap so they have the highest top speed at the very start, or you want to give them the tow at the end of the lap so you're dragging them down the entire Sector 3 straightaway. There's not really anywhere else you can do it because, yes, there is a DRS zone in between turns 2 and 3, but it's a relatively short straightaway. You can definitely get a draft off of it, but then the driver ahead ends up giving off a lot of aerodynamic weight and will compromise the following person. So I'll be interested to see if Lee is just going to get Veloce to tow him just at the start of the lap, or if these two are going to kind of back away from each other near the end of the circuit with the idea that Lee tries to race up and catch Veloce on his lap. All right, so Here's the answer. It looks like Veloce is just giving Adam a tow straight down the main straight at the start of the lap. Now Veloce will have the option. One second. Excuse me, I'm sorry about that. Veloce will give Adam a tow on the second shorter DRS straight as well. But I anticipate we'll see Veloce try to pull away from Adam or pull off to the side very early on in these next 2 or 3 corners, so Adam can take the advantage of that tow and not have to deal with the aerodynamic wake of the driver ahead. Apparently not, so I'm guessing in the AlphaTauri camp, they figure that it's better to just be in someone's draft the entire way around. Then he fails, and Veloce's made instant! Oh no! And Adam Lee goes into, and Football has just crashed out as well in sector, oh, Christ alive. Oh my goodness, and with the drop of a hat, this is the kind of thing that we see happening all the time here. Adam Lee and Veloce both involved in incidents in the middle of their laps. That is why you don't want to be in someone's toe the entire time. And JR Football are crashing out in the final round of qualifying before even getting a lap in. My Christ, how? This always happens at Baku. Congratulations, Baku. Thank you, Baku. CJ Hurricane goes to the top, 140.285. He's joined by Laser with a 140.541. Now, good news for Amley and Veloce is that they were able to get into the pits a little bit early, so they will be able to come back on track, in theory, a little bit sooner than everyone else and get more laps in sooner. Kinsey, 142.798. Here comes Zola to the line shortly here, but he'll be beaten by Dave, who's about to start a lap. Also, here comes TF Mr. Shark, 123.532 at the end of Sector 2 there. Gonna try and get word from JR Footballer about what happened on his lap. Alright, at the line for Mr. Shark, it will be a 148.345. So not even close to a good lap for the Alpine driver. He is going to go for another lap here. I'm sure we'll see him improve. Zola, 140.345. That's second fastest thus far. Flavor in the middle of an outlap, but he is towing a Alpine that's Hurricane behind us. Hurricane is on a cooldown lap. Laser pulls over as he's on a cooldown lap as well. Dave in the middle of his lap at the moment. Very, very rough exit through there. 115.983 at the end of Sector 2. Dave seems to be struggling a little bit more at the end of Sector 2 than Zola was. But he is in Sector 3 now, which is basically full throttle all the way through. And coming to the line, Dave will be the 6th driver to set a time, and we will see him set a 140.968. That's good enough for 4th at the moment. So the focus now goes to Flavor and TF Mr. Shark. Mr. Shark up by 7.8 seconds. So at this rate, he should be in the 141s. That would put him in 5th. Assuming he maintains that advantage to the line. .561. That's good enough for 4th. So he actually gained a little bit more time there. Still no movement in the AlphaTauri camp, so the focus goes to Flavor. Dave and Zola both on... No, I take it back. Zola in pit lane with Dave on a cooldown lap right now. Flavor trying to be the 7th driver to set a time here in Q3. .116.643 at the end of Sector 2. Now you open up the power, open up the throttle, lay on the ERS and the DRS down the straight. DRS doesn't really kick in until just about the time you start seeing the pit lane entry point. But it's still very important here. At the line for Flavor, it will be a 141.629. That is 6th fastest thus far. And now both of the AlphaTauris on outlap, so they're not doing what they did earlier. They have a little bit of separation, a bit of distance between the two of them. So if one of them have an instant, it's not going to compromise the other's lap. Lee will be the first of the two to start their lap. But at the top, it is CJ Hurricane with a 140.285. We know you can get into the 139s. Also, Hurricane's teammate Mr. Shark is 4th, so the Alpine's very competent in qualifying, to say the least. The Red Bulls, 2nd and 5th right now. There's a Williams in 3rd, a Haas in 6th. It is Aston Martin 7th. Then there's the Alfa Romeo of JR Footballer. Not Alfa Romeo, I'm sorry, Ferrari of JR Footballer, but he is relegated to 8th at best. Will more likely be a 9th or 10th place starting position for him. And then you have these two AlphaTauris, Adamli and Veloce. They've been some of the fastest in Q1, fastest in Q2. We know they're fast. We know they will be on merit, fighting for fastest time for the front row. Where exactly are they going to fall out in the end? No draft to help either Lee or Veloce, though. They tried that strategy. It did not work. Laser is on an outlap. He wants to go faster. And we're now seeing a Red Bull coming back out onto the circuit. That would be XRL Dave. Flavor comes into the pits now as Laser about to begin his lap. Focus, though, is frankly just on the AlphaTauris. Adam Lee has a completely clean track ahead and behind him. Veloce does have a Red Bull behind, but that Red Bull is on a warm-up lap and is not going to be rushing to catch Veloce. Veloce is on this lap basically on his own. And there's enough of a gap that even if something happened to Adam Lee, Veloce would get heads up from the spotters that, yes, something has happened. So at the end of Sector 2 for Adam Lee, 114.668. That's one of the best Sector 2 exit times we've seen today. Could Adam Lee knock CJ Hurricane off the top spot? Coming to the line. DRS opens up, and it will be a 139.439. That's 8/10ths faster than anything Hurricane did, and Adam Lee goes right to the top. Here comes Veloce. And for Veloce, this is it, his only chance. He doesn't have fuel to go for another run, so he better hope that he did everything as perfectly as possible. Can we see an AlphaTauri 1-2 lockout on the front row? At the line. 139.422, so Veloce goes over Adam Lee. It's an AlphaTauri lockout at the front. For everyone else, it is a rush to try and get to the line to get one lap in before it's too late. Laser is going to be the next one across the line. He is 5th on the current setup. Can he improve? He needs to improve by over a second just to fight for that front row position. The Williams comes to the line, 139.942. He's into the 39s, but he's still half a second. Actually, more than half a second off of the AlphaTauri's time. So Hurricane has crossed the line. He is now beginning a lap. Same with Dave. He is going to be the next one to cross the line to get another lap in. Flavor retires in the pit lane. He says, hey, look, I know I can't go faster. I'll take the 8th right now. Might turn to 9th depending on how much faster Kinsey Retro goes. We are in the last 40 seconds. In fact, we are just about to start the last half minute of this qualifying session. Zola is going to make it to the line just in time to get one more lap in. But Dave, his teammate, will be the next one to deal with it. And it's going to get interesting because there is an AlphaTauri. Ooh, Dave, a little bit of contact on the wall. Eckstein Castle. He needs to hope that doesn't compromise his run here in the last two corners of Sector 2. But there is an AlphaTauri ahead. Will that compromise him? No, Veloce gets out of the way. Here comes Dave into the corner. A little bit slimy, but he's a little bit happier than what we saw earlier. Dave, who was up at fifth fastest at one point, has been pushed gradually down to seventh. Can he go any faster? Really sideways there out of that final corner, the final real corner. Now it's all high-speed corners, full throttle to the line for Dave. At the line, 140.172. That's good enough for fourth. Next one across the line will be this man here, CJ Hurricane. He's up by almost half a second. This could be enough to get him ahead of Dave and Laser. It seems like it's a fight for row 2 because no one's been able to hit row 3. Christ alive, Hurricane very nearly runs in the back of an AlphaTauri. At the line, Hurricane, third, 139.748. Laser, down on fuel, he's not going for another lap, so the focus goes to Mr. Shark and Kinsey Retro. Kinsey trying to knock Flavor off of it. Kinsey wants to be on row 4 or higher. Comes to the line, will he be able to do it? The answer, yes, Kinsey goes to 8th. Here comes Mr. Shark. He is fast as a shark, but that's not going to be enough. He is going to be stuck with 7th, 140.561. Zola will be the last driver to set time in the session. And at the line, it will be 4th, 139.872 for XRL Zola. And that brings us to an end here in qualifying session 3. AlphaTauri front row lockout. Impressive job on their part. So this is your top 10. Veloce, Lee, Hurricane, Zola, Laser, Dave, Shark, Retro, Flavor, and Footballer. They will be your top 10 starters in the race itself. We're looking at 14-car field for today. All right, so now we're going to go ahead, look at the championship standings as they are right now. So when it comes to the Drivers' Championship, everything's over there, and I'll get to that shortly, but I do want to talk about the Manufacturers' Championship first, per usual. 10th, dead last, AlphaTauri with only 42 points. They could turn that around today, but there's no guarantee. Again, survival is key here at Baku. They only have 42 points in 10th. 9th is Ferrari with 69. Nice points. 8th is Williams with 85. 7th is Alfa Romeo with 86. 6th is Alpine with 87. Mercedes 5th with 88. So 5th through 8th all separated from 1 point within each other and 4 points overall. So that will be a very interesting battle to watch as the day goes on. 4th, McLaren with 99 points. 3rd is Aston Martin with 106. But McLaren is not showing up today, while Aston Martin has 2 drivers, so that should go well in their favor. And then for the manufacturer's title overall is Haas versus Red Bull. Red Bull has 2 representatives today, Zola and Dave. Haas only has Flavor. However, I would put money on Flavor bringing home points potentially. He is very good at finishing races with high attrition, so there may be some good results there. When it comes to the Drivers' Championship, Zola has already locked it up, 110 points more than anyone else in the garage. And second, Pure USC 1012, he has 65 points and he is not running today. So, from the bottom to the top, 20th, Matty Wazier has 20 points. 19th is Extra Lopez with 22. 18th is Dash Up Gaming with 25. There's a tie for 16th between Adam Lee and RRT G1. They both have 26 points. 15th is K. 18th C. FC, he has 27 points. 14th is Bauer Power with 9 points. There's a tie for 12th between Kinsey Retro and XRL Dave, 29 each. 11th, JR Footballer is 35. 10th, Level 6 V-Sim with 39. 9th is TF Mr. Shark with 40. 8th is Herb Nair with 41. 7th, Zinguy 654 with 45. 6th is XRL Veloci with 51. Fifth is XR Flavor with 53. Fourth, SFR Shu with 60. Third, XR Shakari 62. Second, Pure UFC 1012 with 65. And that range there from about 6th to 2nd, that could all very easily get flipped on its head today, depending on how well Shakari, Flavor, and Veloce finish in today's event. But I do want to go ahead and say congratulations to Zola. In 5 seasons of Dev, which is the only series, or one of only 2 series that he puts his focus on. And for Zola, 4 championships in 5 seasons. Outstanding job on that part. He has locked this season's championship up with 2 races left to go. So I do want to say congratulations to XR Zola on that. It's still up in the air if Zola is going to be returning as a driver going into F1 2022, or if Zola is going to be just a official / commentator going into the next game. We don't really know for sure which way it's going to be. However, we do know that one way or another he has left, just as a driver alone, a very, very impressive mark on XRL at this point. And we look forward to seeing what else they can do in this race and the season finale at Brazil, which will be in about a week's time. Just standing by right now until we get to the start of the race. Real quickly looking at the tire compound. Again, everyone in the top 10 will be starting on worn softs. Galmaner starting on fresh softs. Egedy on fresh mediums. Extreme F1 and Shakari both starting on fresh softs. So again, only 14 drivers running today. It'll be interesting to see how many of them are actually able to finish the race. Should be going underway in about a minute's time here. All right, here we are. 4 lights, 5 lights. It's lights out. Away we go here at Baku. Veloce, Adley, drag race into the line, but this is interesting. Look at Zola with a huge run. He goes up into 3rd. Adam Lee Hemrick is back to 4th. Veloce and Hurricane are the big winners there, already pulling away from everyone else as they run through turn 2 and now onto the 2nd straightaway here. Adam Lee trying to close back on Zola, but look at this fight here. Dave, Laser, fighting for 5th and 6th position. The Red Bull has the inside. He'll squeeze or attempt to squeeze the Williams. Can't make it stick, but he has the better drive. He will move up into the 5th spot. Laser now falls to 6th. Flavor is up into 8th. Kinsey in 9th. Sha'Carri has gone from 14th to 10th in the span of just a few corners. Oh, Haas around. That's Flavor. Flavor has gone around. Is there damage on Flavor's car? No damage to Kinsey as far as we can see, but it does look like Sha'Carri may have front wing damage. And Sha'Carri with front wing damage early in the event. This could get very interesting, very frustrating, very fast. Coming flying full speed down through Sector 2 as we round board with Golminator in 11th, the same spot he started this race at. Everyone makes it through Sector 2 by the looks of it, but we will see at least one driver having to pit to repair damage to their car by the looks of it. Extreme F1 closing with speed on Golminator. Extreme did not turn a single lap in qualifying. Started 13th, trying to get his way into 11th now. Will obviously get that position once we see Sha'Carri come into the pits to repair damage. And Adam Lee is pinning as well. So Adam Lee, one of your front row stars, does also have front wing damage. So Adam Lee and Sha'Carri both having to pit. They will go right to the back of the grid here. So this puts Golminator up in the 9th, Extreme F1 up in the 10th, Footballer and Eggity in the Ferraris 11th and 12th. Oh, and that was a round, and that was 2 drivers. That Flavor was one of them, and Golminator was one as well. So Flavor and Golminator get into it with each other there in turn 2. Flavor goes back to 10th, Golminator 11th, Eggity in 12th. There's your supposed pit stop strategy. But Veloce is opening a gap on CJ Hurricane and the rest of the field right now. But watch this battle here. Dave is in 4th behind teammate Zola. Zola is trying to close on Hurricane. At the start of this next lap, we will see DRS get kicked on, but the question is going to be, is anyone even going to be within range of drivers ahead to even try and utilize DRS? Yellow flag, Sector 2, and there may be a Ferrari of Eggity who has wing damage. That's Golminator who has front wing damage coming out of Castle. Needs to be very careful here in this braking zone with no front wing. It's going to be very difficult to navigate. He will complete it. One more corner, but this one has a little bit more runoff, so I do imagine Golminator should be able to make it to pit lane and repair the damage. This will drop him completely out of contention for the points unless drivers ahead start crashing out. DRS now enabled. Veloce 143.974 fast at the top, and Dave has taken damage somewhere, and he now has to pit. So this will drop Dave out of the points paying position. Now there's only one Haas in the points and one Red Bull in the points, but it is Zola who is 3rd while Flavor is in 9th right now, so it's still looking very good for Red Bull in the Manufacturers Championship fight. Adam Lee now up into the 11th spot. Long gap between himself and Eggity ahead though. Extreme F1 has just overtaken his teammate Kinsey Retro using DRS. Veloce has opened up a bit more than a second every lap completed thus far on Hurricane in 2nd. So Aston Martin reigns 6th and 7th at the moment. Stream really twitchy with the rear of that car. Farther up, Mr. Shark, Laser for 4th and 5th. Williams versus Alpine, they're both slowly closing in on Zola ahead. And Zola himself is trying to close the gap between himself and CJ Hurricane. In fact, it looks like Zola is going to be just barely within DRS range of CJ Hurricane ahead. Hurricane seems to be dropping off in pace right now. As we look at the telemetry right now, we're trying to see who's saving fuel and who's not. Hurricane struggling with fuel conservation right now, and he has to pit. So there is something wrong. Hurricane is taking damage. Zola now goes up into 2nd position. So who else is saving fuel at this point in the event? Here's one, Kinsey Retro, iffy on fuel as he's making a dive on Extreme F1. He has the inside, neck and neck between the Aston Martins as they now run down to the second DRS straight. Kinsey now ahead of Extreme F1, but again, Kinsey needs to save fuel. Extreme does not have to worry about it. Extreme can go hard on this straightaway. Does he try and overtake his teammate? The answer is gonna be, nah, not now. He feels confident. Jared Football in 7th is still trying to save fuel, as is Extra Flavor in the 8th position. 9th, Egedy is good on fuel. Amelie in 10th is good on fuel, so is Hurricane, Dave, Shakari, and Gulminator. Mr. Shark has just gotten by Laser, but it might be a bit controversial because here comes Laser coming back. Side by side, the section of the track, you're not going to be side to side to make contact, and now it's the run to Castle. Oh, Laser, really bad run there through Castle, and that will give Mr. Shark a chance to open up the gap. So Mr. Shark, who is not able to perform at his highest level in qualifying, has bounced back in the race, is now up in the 3rd position, but 3 seconds out from Zola. Laser trying to get back into DRS range of Mr. Shark so he can fight back against him going down the main straight. He is barely within the 1 second range. The Alpine is faster in a straight line, we can tell that for sure. But then, Mr. Shark seems to be a bit faster at the higher end of the speed charts, so Laser closed fast, going from about 0 to 150, but then at the higher end, it went back in Mr. Shark's favor, and Laser out of DRS range. Extreme F1 overtakes Kinsey using some DRS shenanigans. Again, remember, Kinsey trying to save fuel while fighting his teammate here. Oh, big twitch by Kinsey, and Extreme is gone, and now that leads into one other thing, tire life. Kinsey is on the sauce, Extreme F1 on mediums. Medium tires are naturally going to last a lot longer here. We know the sauce are faster over a single lap, but how much does that actually help when Extreme F1 has the advantage of going multiple laps? Gun, all the laps we've seen thus far have been under green circumstances. That plays great into Extreme F1's hands because that means he can go farther on this set of tires. Most of the other battles on track have pretty much already broken up and dissolved. This is the closest one, and there's this here, as Adam Lee has caught Egedy for 9th. So Adam Lee, who started 2nd on the front row, but totally botched the start, took damage on the first lap, fell, hemorrhaged, all the way to dead last. He has climbed back into the points main position in 10th. Now caught behind a Ferrari and trying to figure out a way past. A little bit of debris there on circuit. Extreme F1 gets by Laser as Laser is going to not be able to fight back. DRS just works. Oh, wow, that got a little bit messy to say the least. And Egedy having troubles. And now here comes CJ Hurricane with speed as well. Zola and Laser coming into the pits. Potentially repair damage. Now here comes Hurricane. He'll easily have more speed down the straight, side by side, and Hurricane ahead of Egedy by the time they get to the braking zone. And Zola was far enough ahead that he will stay ahead of Egedy and will just barely beat out Hurricane! Coming out of turn 2. Zola, though, no DRS. Hurricane does have the DRS, and Hurricane is on hot tires. So he looks to the inside, thinks of it, won't commit, doesn't feel confident committing. So now Zola puts his focus on Adam Lee in 7th ahead. So now it's Mr. Shark who is in the 2nd position, but he is 9 seconds out from Veloce. Well, I say that, he's actually 8 seconds out right now, but not even close to your current race leader. The fight is for this spot here, 8th through 11th. And Shakari, we expected a lot more from Shakari today, but a crash in Q1 and he has been stuck outside of the points paying positions all day today. Not been a good run for one of the fastest men in X3. Here comes Adam Lee. He's making the run on Flavor. Side by side. Flavor not going to fight back with too much. No! And there's a round! And Adam Lee's around! And he's backwards in front of the field. It looks like he will be able to get going without hitting anyone else. but that got chaotic fast, and now Hurricane up in the 7th. He used that to get by Zola, so Hurricane by Zola. Now he is in DRS range of Flavor. How aggressively does he pursue Flavor here? Oh, wow. Oh, he's there. He is there. He looks to the inside. Mr. Shark Pity now in 2nd position. That promotes Extreme F1 into 3rd now. Here comes Zola. Zola sees that fight behind, but there's a fight ahead as well. Egedy, Shikari, neck and neck. Shikari, for a first time in the points paying position, he will overtake both Egedy and Zola, and side by side, they're still there. Zola's not giving up yet on the run down in turn 2. Zola, faster, wider line. Shikari denied him the inside, but it didn't do anything for him, and now Egedy has a chance to maybe get back by Shikari for 7th. No, doesn't look like it. In fact, Shikari has DRS, so he'll use that to hold on to the back of Zola and hold on to 7th for the time being. And Adam Lee, with that spin, has now fallen to 10th, although Laser has fallen behind him into 11th. Fresher medium tires is taking him a little bit more effort to try and get them up into temperature. So Shikari running behind Zola right now. Zola now back up into the 6th spot. Flavor in 12th after he pitted. So for Zola, this is looking very good for him, trying to make good results happen. Oh, wow, did Adam Lee take damage or something? Because Laser just overtook Adam Lee in a spot you don't normally see overtakes at. Well, Lee is continuing, but he's out of the points once more, and Laser is gone again. And now almost everyone is outside of DRS range except for these two. Zola leading Shikari for 6th spot. While out front, Veloce has opened up a 14.5-second gap. So at this rate, Veloce has been opening up the gap by about 2 seconds a lap. And Extreme F1 now pits out 2nd spot, so that gap's going to get even bigger now. Now we see Kinsey Retro. He's going to go up into the 2nd position at this point in the event. Flavor now gets by Adam Lee. So there's something wrong with Adam Lee's car. Here comes Shikari. Easy, no worry, DRS overtake as Shikari goes up in the 4th, taking a long time, but now Shikari is starting to put on the performance we expected of him. Zola's not willing to just give this position without issue, though. He goes around the outside. Shikari's like, fine, you can have that. I will use DRS on the following straight to try and get back by. But did he wait too long? He's within 1/3 of a second. He's at a 1/4, a 5th. But he is not close enough. He will not commit to a move. Footballer and Adam Lee both pitted, so there must have been damage to Adam Lee's car. So one AlphaTauri dominates, the other is in no man's land outside of the points today. It's been a very, very strange day, to say the least. Extreme F1 out of the pits in 9th position. Kinsey Retro now 2nd, but he is 21 seconds out from Veloce right now. And the gap only seems to be getting slowly larger and larger. This is the main fight to watch, though. Zola over Shikari for 4th and 5th spot. Red Bull versus Williams. Flavor in 10th is trying to bring home Manufacturers Championship points for Haas. Zola trying to do the same for Red Bull. Shikari's going to have a great run on Zola down the straight here. He needs to time it right so he doesn't have to back out in the last high-speed bend. This looks like it will work out well. He's within a 5th. He goes to the inside. He's there. He overtakes him easily. No contest. And he has DRS. He uses that to open up the gap a little bit more against Zola down the straight. So Shikari now up in the 4th as Kinsey Retro is pitted out of the 2nd position. CJ Hurricane has now cycled back in the 2nd spot. But he's 22 seconds out from Veloce right now. Man. Oh, and Golminator's out. And Golminator has had an accident in Sector 3, and he is out of it. And that'll be the first full course yellow of the day. And Golminator crashing out. Laser, lucky he was able to get into the pits just before the yellow flag came out. They'll go ahead, repair front wing damage, and he will be able to continue in the 11th position. Or maybe, yeah, he'll be in 11th. For Veloce, this is great because he's way ahead of the safety car. He'll be able to swap tires without issue. All right, coming to the party now is Golminator. Golminator, go ahead and include your audio. Accident in Q2, and then a much bigger accident here in the race. What happened out there?
Yeah, just lost control there coming to the last turn. I really don't know how my car lost grip there. It's beyond me. I guess my tires are a little bit more worn than I thought. Really kind of angered by this one. Put in a lot of effort practicing this week. Was climbing back from 14th there after having an unfortunate little issue with my front wing there at the beginning of the race. Was climbing back, but then just lost control.
All right, well, sadly, you're taken out of the event. There's one more race left in the dev calendar at Brazil. Do you think you can rebound and end this season on a high note?
I do. I've come out, I've had 2 races so far, DNFs in both, which is really regrettable. Like I said, the first one, though, I ran with no assists, just trying to challenge myself a little bit more. Then I found out a lot of folks use the assists, so I switched over for this race. Had a small upset, right there at the end. But I think Brazil, it's a track I normally do pretty well at. So I feel optimistic I can bounce back in strong for the season, and then when 22 comes out at the end of the month, I think I'll have a strong showing under the new physics.
All right, well, you're not letting these incidents get you down, and good job on that, mate. It's great to hear. Shame to have to talk to you so early, but thanks for being willing to talk with us, not once but twice today.
Absolutely, thank you.
All right, so various different drivers taking pit stops. Eggedy, who started on the medium tires, is now put on softs, but I don't imagine those softs are going to last him to the end of this race. Almost everyone else, though, putting on variations of medium tires to just make it to the end. We know the softs are good, but they're only good for about 3 to 4 laps. Now, the other thing to consider, though, it's going to take a long time for this field to bunch up. Veloce, being led by a safety car, is going in Sector 2, just about to enter the castle section at the moment. Dave has just now started Sector 3, and although there are a lot of straightaways, it is a very long lap in just distance and time around here. So it's not going to be a super easy scenario, to say the least. Heck, 8th place still has... Heck, even 6th hasn't even caught to the back to the main grid yet, so we're probably not going to go green until about lap 12, so a little bit less than halfway through this event. Dave and Adam Lee are the real beneficiaries out of this all, because Dave was at risk of going a lap down, as was Adam Lee. They will now be able to cycle back up to the back of the grid, and they can be there with everyone else as they prepare to go green flag here in a bit. So there we are. Kinsey and Shakira now caught the back. Now it's up to how long will it take Eggedy and Flavor to catch the back of the grid. So there we are. They've caught the back now. Laser trying to rush to catch the rear of the grid. Laser and Football are able to put on brand new, fresh medium tires, so this might work out well for them, for a period at least. So everyone with the exception of Dave has caught the rear of the grid. Dave trying to close the gap down right now. 29 seconds, about 30 seconds off the back of the grid. This will be interesting. I don't know if we're going to be going green on lap 12 like anticipated. Dave's taking his time to catch the back of the field, to say the least. 24 seconds out from Adam Lee right now. 22, 20. 19. He cannot afford to damage his car, though, here through Castle. If he does, he'll have to pit coming to the green flag. 15 seconds out. Come on, I'd like to be able to go green this lap, Dave. I believe in you. You can catch the rear of the grid. 12 seconds out. 10 out. 9 out. 8 out. 7.5 out. It'll be close, but I think we might see them go green this lap. Hopefully. Fingers crossed. 4 seconds out. 3. There we are. Safety car officially coming in this lap. So Veloce and CJ Hurricane are your top two. How will Veloce back up the grid? He is on better tires. He has clean air. How does he and when does he choose to go green? Pace car is in pit lane. And he accelerates. And we're underway once more at Azerbaijan. Hurricane took a look, took a peek, but couldn't do anything. Sha'Carri is by Kinsey Retro early on in the lap, though. So Sha'Carri already up into 6th. He puts his focus now on Extreme F1, the other Aston Martin. And that is TF, Mr. Shark, who spins coming out of turn 2. Way too aggressive on the tires, and Shark goes right to the back. Veloce already opening up the gap on Hurricane. Zola in 3rd. Flavor is back up into 8th, so Red Bull still has the advantage in the Manufacturers' Championship fight right now. Extreme F1 in 4th, trying to hold Sha'Carri behind him. So it's taken Sha'Carri about 8 laps to wake up, and once he started waking up, he has been fighting in the upper half of the points on merit and strategy to combine. Now the field makes their way through Castle. Ooh, big twitch by Extreme F1. They're side by side, neck and neck, 4th and 5th position, and it looks like Sha'Carri will complete the overtake. Good job on his part. Extreme tries to make the crossover, wants to dive to the inside. Does he come in the braking zone? No, he is better than that. He's smarter than that. He does tap the outside wall. Is there damage on his car? No, it looks like he should be good. Now Sha'Carri is right there behind Zola again, and might try to steal 3rd without DRS this time by. He is faster than the Red Bull. He pulls up alongside, drag race down the straightaway, and Sha'Carri is already by. And Mr. Shark has just DNF'd and crashed in Sector 2. And Sha'Carri up into 3rd, an incredible run for him. Adam Lee trying to get by Laser here. Laser holds the position, as we're going to try and get Mr. Shark into the party here. Big twitch by Laser. But he will continue. So Sha'Carri now in 3rd, trying to run away from Zola, who has Extreme F1 behind him as well. Adam Lee now by Laser, coming out of the 2nd shorter straightaway. And Adam Lee focusing on Eggity. So it seems like Eggity in the Ferrari is just struggling, maybe with setup issues, just does not seem to have much pace even with those soft tires. And that's really going to hurt him in about 2-3 laps when those softs start falling off. Dave has worked his way into 11th. He is behind Flavor. If he can get by Flavor, that will increase significantly Red Bull's points earning today for their Manufacturers' Championship. Oh, big twitch, though, through Castle for Dave, so he does not seem to be as confident with the car's Flavor, but Flavor is a lot slower in that machine right now. As Extreme F1 trying to work by Zola, looks outside, inside, no passing zone there, but there could be a passing zone here on this following straight. Sha'Carri has closed in on CJ Hurricane, though, and is going to be within DRS striking range of that Alpine. So 2 different fights to watch right now. Extreme F1 looks to the inside, easy overtake on Zola. It seems like those fresh medium tires just completely mog the older medium tires. Zola does have draft, though. He uses draft and ERS to pull back alongside down the straight, neck and neck. Extreme F1 says, fine, you can go ahead, you can go hard into turn 1. I'll be right behind you, and I'll use DRS on the following straightaway. Did he time it well, though? He's 4/10ths out, and Zola had a better exit, and he's using DRS to close the gap back down, but Zola has enough of a gap that's not going to factor in. So Zola is going to hold on to 4th for about another half a lap or so, I imagine. This is the real fight. Sha'Carri behind CJ Hurricane. And Veloce is opening up a gap about a second a lap on everyone else like he has been most of the day. So for Veloce, he just needs to avoid crashing like he did in the start of Q3. And this race should be automatically his on merit. Ooh, big twitch by Hurricane there, coming out of Castle. That gives Sha'Carri an opening. This is it. Williams, Alpine, drag race for second. And Sha'Carri says, nah, I'll wait until a DRS happens. I don't want to be on the losing end of a DRS fight down the main straightaway. Ooh, but Sha'Carri is right there underneath Hurricane's rear wing. That was high risk. There's a lot of confidence he had in that Alpine ahead that he wasn't going to make any major mistakes. Alpine a little bit faster in the initial acceleration. He tapped the inside wall though. Here comes Sha'Carri with a huge head of steam. He's got DRS as well. DRS, everything in his favor. Sha'Carri to the line. He will inherit second position. And Veloce has also just set the fastest lap of the race, and Hurricane bombs turn 1 in the arrow wake of that Williams. So Sha'Carri has absolutely opened up a whole new can of whoop my ass on the field right now. Dave has gotten by Flavor, so Flavor's still in 10th. Dave now up into 9th. And Zola in 5th. That would be great for Red Bull and their manufacturer championship hopes. Zola closing back in on Extreme F1. Zola, though, on more worn tires than Extreme, but Extreme has time penalties. The only driver on track to have time penalties at this stage in the race. Adam Lee is there as well. He is finally back in the 6th, the highest he's been after his lap 1 incident. He's on tires a little bit fresher than Zola's right now. So a three-way fight for 4th at the moment. It looks like Extreme is slowly trying to gap Zola, but Zola is just within DRS, just close enough. That'll make things very difficult for Adam Lee. Adam says, look, I don't want to have to deal with being blasted at DRS train. He'll go by there. But in that fight, now Adam Lee is outside of DRS from Extreme F1, and Zola will have DRS on the AlphaTauri. So Honda Power versus Honda Power. Zola has the draft and is closing even without DRS. Within half a second, within 2/5, within a third, within a quarter, within a tenth. But he is not going to make the move. So he waits. He wants to wait until they get onto the second DRS straightaway. It's a lot shorter, and it's a high-risk move to wait because if you don't exit this corner perfectly, you're not going to be able to make it work. And yeah, Zola's lost a bunch of time now to Adam Lee. So Adam Lee now in a position he can try and run down the Extreme F1 ahead. Dave gets by Egedy now. So the Ferrari soft tires have now fallen off the cliff. JR Footballer has caught Flavor. This is for the last in the points paying positions. And Flavor, who was betting on this being a high attrition race, has not worked out for him. And because of that, Flavor's has not really had the speed today to fight on merit for much more than 9th or 10th position. So unless a lot of people start dropping out quickly, I think for Flavor and his run in Haas, it was a big risk strategy, but it's not. It was a low risk strategy, but for whatever reason, it's not worked out for them. Kinsey has had to come in, swap tires, and repair damage, and they've put on softs on that Aston Martin. He is 12th, but those softs are not going to last to the end of this race. He will have to pit again. So for Kinsey, there's an outside chance he might go a lap down before this race is over. So this is the fight for 4th. Extreme F1 over Adam Lee. Lee within just about 2/3 of a second out, within half a second. He has a whole head of steam on that Aston Martin. He'll have DRS as well. So AlphaTauri should go to 1-4 on the timing stand. Not the easiest to overtake. Extreme still on the outside, fighting back. And while Adam Lee denies, He just barely denies and kind of slides the car in front of Extreme F1 as Extreme has trouble putting the power down. So Adam Lee now in 4th. 4 seconds out from CJ Hurricane. Footballer has officially gotten by Flavor. So Extreme still within about a second of Adam Lee, but can he maintain that to the DRS zone? Zola, his tires have completely given up, and he is hemorrhaging positions. But again, Red Bull in points paying spots, Haas not, so this has not gone too horribly for him yet. Zola, though, was going to have to fight against Laser shortly, and his own teammate Dave over these next laps. Oh! Zola, he hit the wall. Is there damage on that car? You could hear that smack. I don't see any damage. It looks like he's still good. Laser's got the speed on Zola. Slightly fresher tires means also better exit. You're able to get on the throttle earlier, and that helps great when it comes to getting to your top speed on these straights. Drag race, Laser has DRS, and he will easily move by Zola. So Red Bull has now fallen to 7th and 8th on the racetrack. And Dave is the next person that Zola may have to worry about. Now Zola will be able to use DRS on the Williams for this lap, or at least this straightaway, to kind of hold off the charge from Dave for a bit longer. But it's very obvious for Zola that these tires are not feeling very good. So here's an interesting thing I didn't think we would be seeing. Shikari, who was totally irrelevant for the opening few laps of the race, has closed the gap slowly but surely on Veloce. The gap is just a bit over a second now, so we're going to go side for a lap right on board Shikari, see what he is doing where he is trying to close on Veloce for a lap around here. think rain is now beginning to factor in. So for this fight for lead, for everyone on track, rain at this point in this race could really upend how this event goes. Sha'Carri trying to get by Veloce, and he's around him. And for the first time today, we have a different leader, a little bit of contact, and Veloce sideways from that contact. But we now have a new leader in the form of Sha'Carri, who crashed out in Q1, had incidents on lap 1, for the first 6 laps or so was totally irrelevant, now has absolutely climbed his way through the field. But the track is wet, is going to start wetting up. It is raining in these final 6.5 laps here at Baku. And that will mean no DRS, and Veloce, this race may have just snuck away from him. Veloce hemorrhaging positions now. I think he's just in survival mode. He sees, oh no. Excuse me. Veloce sees the track is wetting up, and he's like, oh no, oh crap, I gotta be in survival mode. This does help though the Red Bull camp, because their tires are at their end of their life cycle. They'll be able to pit, and they don't have to worry about Flavor leapfrogging them now on tire life. In fact, I imagine everyone on track is gonna be pitting this lap. Oh, and Extreme F1's into the wall! Extreme F1 has had a big accident there! Right in front of Laser! Extreme goes way off circuit, that'll let Laser go by! Dave's gonna have to do the same! So Extreme F1 has a big accident there in Sector 2. He needs to drag this car around into pit lane and do it quickly. He needs to put on, and Veloce gets a time penalty for missing turn 1. Extreme needs to come into the pits and probably throw on the intermediates now ahead of everyone else. Zola doing the same. Footballer in the Ferrari in 9th position. It looks like he's going to stay out for one more lap. Flavor in 10th. He will now leapfrog Zola and Extreme F1, but only for the moment because the track is wetting up. They put on softs. So Extreme F1 and Zola says, look, we're not worried about the rain. We're going to keep going. We think the track's going to stay dry to the end. Extreme F1, they didn't repair the front wing. What kind of shenanigans are they doing in the Aston Martin camp? They did not repair the front wing on Extreme F1's machine. What in the devil is that bull crap? This has now dropped Extreme F1 to 12th, dead last, and with no front wing, he's going to struggle with grip in every single corner here. Oh, and Adam Lee's had an instant there! And that's in Castle! And that's Dave, whose laser's gone to him. Dave has been held up by him now as well. Adam Lee is going to be able to continue, but there's damage on that car, and he's held up Dave, and he's held up Laser. Oh, and Flavor's had an instant now. Zola trying to rush to catch back up to Flavor and get back ahead of him before that Haas has to make a stop. Track wetting up, but not lost yet. Another instant for Extreme F1, and he's going to go a lap down. Hurricane pitting out of the top 3. He had the worst tires of everyone at the front. He is betting on pitting a bit earlier, working in his favor. They're throwing on the intermediates. How much of an advantage will this play out for Hurricane? Adam Lee in the pits as well after that incident. Egedy trying to close on Zola. Flavor and Zola stay out for another lap each. Extreme F1 finally goes out there in Castle. Oh, and this could be bad because Sha'Carri is coming up, and Sha'Carri's got a time penalty, and he is coming up to this part where that damaged, wounded Aston Martin is. Oh, they barely remove him in time. Good Lord. That could have been bad. We've seen races before in Season 1 of Realistic where a lap car crashes in Castle and the leader hits them, and there's nothing you can do in that scenario. But Sha'Carri has opened up a 6-second gap on Veloce, so everything has gone perfectly well for Sha'Carri at this point in the event. Oh! Dave's hit the wall now in Castle! No damage to the car as far as you can see. Zola gets by Flavor because Flavor has had an instant. So that ended up being a big nothing burger, although both Zola and Flavor will still have to pit for intermediate tires more than likely. Hurricane is closing on Dave with speed, but is that because Dave has damage, or is it because of the wettening racetrack? I think it might be both. Veloce pitting out second. So this will give Sha'Carri a 27-second lead, and he's into the wall! Sha'Carri hits the wall in turn 2! The track is wet! You can't stay out any longer like this! Lasers coming in the pit. We'll see Dave pitting now as well. So did Sha'Carri stay out one lap too long? Is he gonna burn through all the goodwill that the time of staying out extra lap has given him? Jared Footballer brings his Ferrari into the pits. Zola comes into the pits. Flavor is gonna stay out another lap. I don't know what they're doing in the Haas camp. This is the only way they can get back ahead of the Red Bulls, but he needs to hope that there's some sort of chaos that happens that keeps Dave and Zola behind for a long time, because Flavor is going to be way off pace on these dry, worn tires on a wet racetrack. But if Flavor makes this work, it will be a Herculean effort. Ed Giddy in pit lane, Kinsey in pit lane as well. Sha'Carri about 30 seconds over Veloce right now. Oh, he's in the wall hard! He's still together. He's still got it, although the front wing is now damaged and compromised. Hemorrhages a bunch of time there at the start of Sector 3. Sha'Carri needs to make it to the pits and do quickly. This is going to get interesting because Veloce is going to be a little bit faster on his outlap compared to Sha'Carri on the in-lap. It's still 30 seconds, but we're going to see that gap start shrinking very shortly here. All right, here we are. Sha'Carri in pit lane. Veloce in second. Can he get back by Sha'Carri? Veloce has dominated this race, but Sha'Carri has outpaced them in the most recent stint. Now, as they come to the line, it's 3 laps to go. Who is it going to be? Sha'Carri has been led out of his pit box. Eggety and the Ferrari has crashed out in Castle. And Veloce is still behind Sha'Carri. And there is no DRS at this point in the event. And the aerodynamic wake holds him up, and Adam Lee's crashed out now. DRS disabled officially. So now it has come down into a survival mode. For Flavor, he finally pits. They have to replace damage on the car. He is going to go to last place on the track because of this, though. Only 9 cars left. Sha'Carri is going to win this race unless he makes a mistake. It is all about survival. Can Sha'Carri keep the car together for his remaining 2.5 laps through Castle once more? Sha'Carri a little bit more confident in the car than Veloce is through Sector 2, and it's letting him open the gap up more and more every lap. There are basically no fights left on the racetrack. It's all about survival, just pacing yourself to the end. Ooh, big slide from Veloce. He's having trouble just putting power down even with the intermediate tires. And that speaks very bad news for about anyone here. This could turn into a battle eventually. Zola is closing on JR Footballer in these closing stages of the race. But with no DRS, it's almost impossible to actually overtake someone ahead unless they make a big mistake. Two laps to go. Zola now within a second of Footballer in that Ferrari. Well, he's faster. He is most definitely faster. Oh, Veloce's had an incident! And Veloce goes off in turn 3, and now he falls to 3rd. And CJ Hurricane is back into 2nd, where he has spent a good part of the day himself. Footballer Zola side by side for 6th. And Footballer has the outside line, but Zola has the quicker inside line that should easily go in Zola's favor. And they make contact, and yes, Zola takes it. Footballer trying to close back on the Red Bull, but can't really do anything here in Sector 2 to close unless the person ahead makes a mistake. Sha'Carri, 7.5 second gap over this man here, CJ Hurricane, as Veloce hemorrhaging spots in the last moments of this race. Hemorrhaging time, I should say, not really spots. I thought I heard Hurricane smack the wall there in Sector 2. I might be wrong. The gap now 8 seconds, so Sha'Carri absolutely in a zip code of his own right now. Sha'Carri has pulled over 10 seconds, closer to 12 seconds on Veloce in the span of about 2 laps. Absolutely ridiculous. So it seems like a more downforce focused setup was the way to go, considering what the end of this race turned into, a rain race. No battles on the track right now. It's all just a matter of who does or doesn't survive to race in. For Sha'Carri, this is his last time coming into Sector 2 here. Ten seconds between Sha'Carri and Hurricane. No one is on Sha'Carri's level right now. It's incredible. He taps the wall, though, in Castle. With the rear of the car, he should still be good, still be able to make it to the end. It was a relatively soft tap, but even your race leader struggling at this point in the event. Is there damage on Hurricane's car in 2nd, maybe? Because Veloce has suddenly started closing the gap. I mean, it's really late. It kind of doesn't matter, but... yeah, this is it. So coming to the checkered flag, Sha'Carri crashed out in Session 1, but is going to storm his way to a massively impressive victory here at Baku. Congratulations, XRL Sha'Carri. Hurricane will round out the 2nd, and Veloce will round out the podium after dominating the race today. Laser will come home in the 4th position in the Williams. Dave 5th, Zola 6th, Footballer 7th, Flavor 8th, Kinsey Retro in 9th. So we're just waiting for everyone else to finish at this point. Kinsey, is he out of fuel? Yeah! Holy crap, Kinsey out of fuel. He's gonna just barely make it to the line. Please make it to the line! Yes, he will make it to the line. Alright, Christ alive. Alright, coming into the party right now is your race winner, XL Sha'Carri. Go ahead, include your audio. Accident in Q1. And that seemed to set the tone for the start of the day, but at the end, you were setting lap times 3 seconds faster than everyone else. Walk us through your entire day from your perspective, mate. That was nuts.
Yeah, man, last to first, get in there, very happy. Yeah, at the start of the race I got some wing damage and had to box. Luckily I started on soft so I could do medium, and then safety car came out, went to fresh mediums because I thought, well, if the rain comes then everyone will be pitting anyway, so there's nothing lost, and if the rain doesn't come then I'll be on fresh tyres and I can get to the end, whereas others have to box. So either way I couldn't lose. Got lucky on the restart lap, got back up to where I was after the first lap on the restart, and then CJ Hurricane got past him, and then the chase was on to catch Veloce, which once I got past seemed to be alright really, didn't it? But there we are.
What about the swap over to the rain tires? You decided to make the swap 1 lap later than Veloci. You actually bounced off some walls as well. How in the world did you stay ahead of him?
I don't know, man. I didn't when Veloce pitted. Well, when I got past the pit lane, it wasn't wet enough, and then suddenly it was. Got past, and then obviously I pitted a lap later after breaking my wing a couple of times. Actually, I touched the wall there, but I was about 0.3 ahead of him when I came out of the pit. So to stay ahead of him was good. It felt good to do that.
Without a doubt, outstanding run today. So now the question is, do you think you can replicate this tomorrow in X3?
Whenever I do well in Dev, I always crash in X3, but let's hope tomorrow can not do that.
All right, well, a little bit of hope for you at least. Azerbaijan this week in real life Formula 1, Azerbaijan in XRL. You've put on a good show. Let's hope the rest of the showcases at this street circuit end up being similar for you, though. Anyways, I do want to say thanks for being willing to jump in and talk with us. Great job there, mate.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you.
All right, real quickly, want to go ahead and try and get our other podium finishers into the party. Hopefully, I can do that without issue. I personally, I don't know if Sha'Carri left or not yet, but I would personally say first challenge in Dev on Baku with Ranthian. Easy driver of the day. All right, coming into the party now is the man who dominated the first 2/3 of this race, but everything just kind of slipped away near the end. This is XRO Veloce. Veloce, fastest easily in qualifying, easy pole, dominated everyone, and then it all just kind of fell away at the end. What happened? Walk us through the race from your perspective.
It was all going well, and then I got a little bit of damage when Sha'Carri was about 3 seconds behind, so he caught up pretty quickly. And then he overtook me. I don't know if he did leave space, but it was very tight, so he touched me, got a bit more damage, and the race just went downhill from there.
Well, you were able to still bring it home into the 3rd place position. If the rain did not come, do you think you could have maybe gotten back by Sha'Carri at any chance? Or
No, not with the damage. I had like a yellow front wing.
Alright, well, it is a podium finish here today. We know you're fighting for the championship in X3, so tomorrow, does your performance today give you confidence for your run tomorrow?
Well, Sha'Carri was quick, is all I'm going to say. I mean, he doesn't have he's not going to return from qualifying tomorrow, presumably. So, yeah.
Alright, well, I do want to say thanks for jumping in and talking with us. Don't be too defeated, mate. You made a lot farther than I've seen other people who have dominated races here. And the main event's tomorrow, so anything could happen. There's one more person I want to talk to. That's CJ Hurricane. Hurricane, go ahead, include your audio. You inherited 2nd place and the first few corners of the race, and you kind of held out in 2nd, 3rd place throughout the entire event, finished on the podium. Walk us through the day from your perspective, Hurricane.
What did you say? Sorry, I was trying to plugged my mic in as quick as I possibly could because I ran downstairs to get an ice cream.
That's cool. So at the start of the race, you inherited second place within the first few corners, and you basically hung out in the second, third place position for most of the day. Walk us through the race from your perspective.
Well, obviously it was a bloody good race for me. I got wing damage on lap 1 going through Castle, so I held off. It got worse, so I appeared on lap 3, and from there I just capitalised on who I was quicker than, who made mistakes, and just kept myself to myself. Drove as fast and as clean as I possibly could, and it all worked out in the end.
Indeed, I'll say second place, outstanding job. You're even able to overtake the guy who dominated the first 2/3 of the event. Any issues with you in the transition from the dry to the wet conditions?
I think I nailed it, because I think I was the first one to go into the intermediates, and the only reason was I went through Castle and the back end, like, I was nearly round. That's how much the back end went out, so I thought, right, it's time to change. So I think I nailed the transition.
Oh, it absolutely paid off, mate. Great race from you, without a doubt. Very, very strong showing, and we'll be looking forward to you maybe replicating this kind of feat in the season finale at Brazil in a few weeks.
Hopefully. I mean, bit of luck.
Alright, well, that will pretty much wrap up. Yep, thank you. That will pretty much wrap up our broadcast here from Azerbaijan, Baku. Tomorrow, X3 on the alternate channel, I'll be covering that race. X1 at the same time at 5 p.m. UK time on the main channel. Then, and that will be covered by Kinsey Retro, who came home 9th today after nearly ran out of fuel. Well, actually did run out of fuel, barely finished the race. That 8 p.m. UK time tomorrow will be the X2 race at Azerbaijan. But until next time, though, I've been your host, Insane Leader 13. I do want to say thank you for jumping in and watching this fantastic race with us. We look forward to seeing you guys in the future. Until then,